Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Derek Campbell, and this is DC with the Call. Today, we'll be going over the first round of the NFL 2022 draft, which I'll talk about some key players that have been drafted already, and then I'll take a look at what the Kansas City Chiefs did and some other teams that made some good picks in the draft. So let's go ahead and get started for today's episode. And just a quick recap of the draft, starting with the Jaguars' first overall pick, going with Trayvon Walker from Georgia, defensive end. And then the Lions with Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, also a defensive end. Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU. Ahmad Garner from Cincinnati for the Jets. New York Giants selected Kayvon Thibodeaux from Oregon in the fifth pick. Akeem Ekwonu from NC State, the Panthers selected at 6. 7, the Giants again back at it with Evan Neal from Alabama, an offensive tackle. And then with the number 8 pick, the Falcons selected Drake London from USC, a wide receiver. Charles Cross, Mississippi State for an offensive tackle. Garrett Wilson, Ohio State for the Jets, again a wide receiver. Chris Olave, another Ohio State wide receiver for the Saints. And then the Lions back at it, Jameis Williams from Alabama, wide receiver, so 3 wide receivers there. And then Jordan Davis, Georgia, with 13 pick for the Eagles. Kyle Hamilton, number 14. Kenyon Green at number 15 from the Texans. And then Jahan Dotson for the Washington Commanders went at 16. And number 17 is Zion Johnson for the Chargers from Boston College. Traylon Burks from Arkansas for Tennessee Titans at 18. And then Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa, an offensive tackle for the Saints at 19. And number 20, Kenny Pickett, the first quarterback in the first round, and the only quarterback also in the first round, selected by Pittsburgh, from Pittsburgh. And then the Chiefs traded up for the 21st pick, swap picks pretty much with the Patriots for their 29th. And the Chiefs selected Trent McDuffie at 21 from Washington. Quay Walker, Georgia inside linebacker, at 22nd for the Packers. And then the Bills at 23rd selected Kahir Elam from Florida. Cowboys selected Tyler Smith at 24. And then the Ravens again at 25 selected Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa. And Jermaine Johnson II was selected by the Jets at 26 from Florida State. Devin Lloyd from Utah at 27 for the Jaguars. And the Packers again selected Devontae Wyatt from Georgia, defensive tackle. And at number 29, the Patriots selected Cole Strange from Chattanooga, an offensive guard. And then the Chiefs again at number 30 selected George Karlaftis from Purdue, a defensive end. And the Bengals at 31 selected Daxton Hill from Michigan. And then the Vikings had the last pick at number 32, selected Lewis Sine from Georgia and another safety. And that's a little bit of a recap here at the end of the first round. So now let's take a look at some key players that got drafted, starting back at the top with Aiden Hutchinson. Was mainly kind of expecting him to go number 1 overall. He falls to number 2, and the Lions were able to pick him up at defensive end, which will be a big help to them. And he'll be a day 1 starter pretty much. He will pretty much fit in perfectly with the Lions' 4-3 defensive scheme, run by coordinator Aaron Glenn. He'll immediately line up as a starter, most likely at right defensive end, and move Charles Harris to a rotational pass rusher role. And Glenn is pretty aggressive on his defense to be in coverage, and Hutchinson's ability to play all 3 downs and get to the quarterback right out of the gate will make him a perfect fit in Detroit right off the bat. Potentially could be a Rookie of the Year candidate too. Hutchinson could be 6'7", 260 pounds from Michigan. He was number 1 in his position rank and number 1 overall ranking with a 94 grade in the draft is what his ratings have been. So that's Aiden Hutchinson going number 2 to the Lions. Thought he would have gone number 1, but didn't quite. And then Ahmad Garner, number 1 cornerback in the draft, falls to number 4 to the Jets. A good pickup for the Jets here. Need all the defensive help that they can get for this coming season if they want to get it back into contention potentially in their division. Get some wins with a young quarterback at the helm of Zach Wilson. But draft analysis here for Gardner is probably one of the better cornerbacks, number one in position ranking, number 5 overall with a 93 grade in the draft. And only gave up 73 pass plays that gained at least 20 yards and finished the season ranked 30th in passing yards allowed per game last season in college football. And Bryce Hall flashed last year, and they signed a DJ Reed, but they need a true number one quarter. And Gardner gives defensive coordinator Jeff Albright a corner who can shut down one side of the field. Plus, he's the playmaker the Jets need, considering they intercepted just 7 passes last year. And this will be a good pickup for them. And he's got a pretty good press man coverage in the class out of all the players. Probably one of the better corners that you could probably go with Ahmad Gardner going number 4 to the Jets. Let's see here. And then Kayvon Thibodeau followed him at number 5. He's the Oregon defensive end. Was really expecting him and Aiden Hutchinson to potentially be a 1-2 at the top, but he falls to number 5 to the Giants. Giants also in need of defensive help, and Kayvon will be good for them immediately. Probably a day one starter again. Opposite of the he'll be for the Giants. He'll be on the opposite side of the 2021 second round pick Azeez Ojulari for the Giants, and Thibodeau's speed off the edge and his overall pass rushing traits are exactly what the Giants were probably looking for in a hybrid defense, and he's just a pure threat at the outside linebacker defensive end spot and potentially give the Giants that edge that they might need on the defensive side of thing. And Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon is number 3rd in his position rank, number 7 overall, and he's also got a 93 grade in the draft. Let's see here now. A couple other players that I wanted to mention. Drake London, a USC wide receiver, goes in the top 10 at number 8 to the Falcons. And it looks like the Falcons, though, just need a quarterback, but one of a wide receiver looking to make Marcus Mariota potentially look good with the new tight end that they drafted last year. And now they got a 6'4" wide receiver at the helm. He's also a potential day one starter with Calvin Ridley suspended for the year, so will take over his spot more than likely. And then Chris Olave falls just right outside the top 10 at number 11 from Ohio State. He's going to go be a Saint. He's a 6-foot wide receiver, number 4 position rank, number 15 overall with a 91 grade, and also a potential day one starter for the Saints for him, adding some depth at wide receiver since they needed that help, and he got the deep speed and ball tracking ability to make him a candidate opposite of Michael Thomas if he ever gets healthy again. And downfield ability is a great matchup with Jameis Winston's strong arm. So potential good matchup for those two guys at the helm. And then taking a look farther down, my big Notre Dame fan here, so Kyle Hamilton going just inside top 15 at number 14 for the Ravens. He's safety from Notre Dame. Kyle Hamilton is. He's 6'4", 220, and he's the number 1 position rank and number 9 overall with a 92 grade. And so this good pick for the Ravens, giving them some help in the safety spot. Great threat on the deep end for Hamilton. Looked pretty good at Notre Dame. Hopefully carries that on over into the NFL, and he's also potentially a Rookie of the Year candidate in the NFL. And then only one quarterback was selected in the first round. That was Kenny Pickett, and he went to Pittsburgh, the Steelers, at number 20. And he will be either the starter for the Steelers or Mitchell Trubisky will be the starter. Probably a quarterback duel will be going on this offseason to find out if Pickett or Trubisky will take over. But Pickett, potentially a day one starter for the Steelers. He potentially also the most NFL-ready quarterback in this class, and he's the number 2 position rank, 22 overall with a 90 grade. He's accurate, he's strong, and he's got some ability to buy some time. Is one of his strengths, so he's a pretty good runner too. And then let's see here, a couple other players potentially that I wanted to take up on. Nope, that will end it here for the players that I wanted to cover and take a look at. But now, kind of moving on to the teams, we're going to start with the Bengals here. I have a friend that's a big Bengals fan, uh, and hopefully he's happy with some safety help that the Bengals got in Daxton Hill from Michigan, a safety. He's number 2 position ranked, number 18 overall, and a 91 grade. Potentially fills a need there for them, getting some depth. And he's placed similar to Eric Berry is what it's seeming like, and he's potentially a day one starter, so might help them out right there, potentially. And kind of moving on now to the Chiefs here, and had 2 picks here in the first round. Chiefs did, and could potentially help them out. They had 2 picks. Went with a cornerback from Washington, Trent McDuffie. Huge need. Cornerback is a big need for the Chiefs this year, since Travarius Ward and Tyrann Mathieu potentially have left. So Trent McDuffie, 5'11", 193 pounds, cornerback, 3rd position ranked, 16 overall, and 91 grade. Potential big fit in for the Chiefs. Day one starter. He will be immediately in the secondary, and he will be entering a scheme that relies heavily on man coverage, and he has a versatile skill set that enables him to play both man and zone. So this will be good for the Chiefs to utilize him in those 2 roles. And also the Chiefs selected George Karlaftis from Purdue, a defensive end. Also another huge need for the Chiefs at number 30. He's number 6 position rank and 37 overall ranking with an 87 grade. And he will be potentially a day one starter on the opposite side of Frank Clark. And we'll meet in right over there on the left side potentially. And also will be ready after facing a slew of pro-level offensive tackles in the Big Ten, and it brings a true 3-down ability as a 4-3 defensive end here for the Chiefs. And this was a huge need also for the pressure off the edge, and he kind of shows that with his pass rushing ability, but it kind of does lack some finishing moves. He is mostly a power rusher, so will be a big guy in those types of key situations for the Chiefs. So I like what the Chiefs did in the first round here, filling the defensive needs. I know everybody was wanting to see wide receivers for the Chiefs being selected, but I like that the Chiefs went with their huge needs that they needed help on the defensive side and getting that a cornerback and a defensive end here for them, which is huge. And then any other teams here that I want to take a look at. The Lions, great pickup with Aiden Hutchinson for them. Will be a huge help for the Lions on the defense side. That was a good pick. And then another good pick for the Saints was Chris Olave. So they did good. A couple of teams did really good. Other teams a little questionable, I thought, on their draft picks. Definitely Texans did good with getting some offensive line and safety help. Jets with their 3 picks also went all defensive. No, they went 1 wide receiver actually. So 2 defense with Amon Garner, which was huge for them, and then also defensive end in the 26. But the Jets had 3 picks, did really good. Got Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, a great wide receiver that will help out Zach Wilson, and will be a huge help for him on the offensive side of things. And we'll give him some height too, also for in the wide receiver spot. So Jets also did pretty good. We'll see. Have to wait and see though how a lot of these players turn out. Potentially not every first round pick makes it in the NFL. It's usually the second, third, and fourth rounders that do the best in the draft. And that kind of wraps up the team picks, but the Chiefs do have some picks left here. The Chiefs here will have 2 second-round picks today, a third, fourth, and they have 4 7th-round picks. So we will probably see a wide receiver selected here by the Chiefs and potentially some more offensive line. And I hope the Chiefs mainly focus on the defensive side of things, but wouldn't be surprised if we see a wide receiver or 2 get selected here by the Kansas City Chiefs. I hope they could go with a possession wide receiver, somebody that's 6'3", 6'4", with some speed and they can go up and get the ball because we don't really have that true end zone threat. The Chiefs do, so I'm hoping they go more that route here in this draft for them. But that's kind of going to wrap us up here with DC with the call here today. And like I said, I just hope the Chiefs kind of focus mainly on the defense side of things, and we'll get a wide receiver too. So don't be too worried out there, people. If you weren't happy with them not selecting one in the first round, the Chiefs will probably draft a wide receiver here in the next 2 rounds potentially. But that's going to wrap it up here with DC with the goal. And also, again, make sure you guys just give this a like and a subscribe to the channel, Red Top Video Productions. And this is produced by them. So make sure you just give the video a like and comment and potentially reach out if you have any questions. And that's going to wrap it up here. I'm Derek Campbell, and this was DC with the Call.